Chapter 8, Uncle Nine. Uncle Nine's eyes lit up when he saw the talisman in my hand. He asked me to hand it over for a closer look. After examining it carefully, he praised, "This is the mountain over sky, great accumulation formation opening talisman. Who would have thought that in this day and age there are still people who can wield an authentic hexagram from the three purities divination? Young man, where did you get this talisman?" I had no idea what he was talking about, some kind of beast or talisman. So I told him the whole story my grandma had told me, word for word. Uncle Nine sighed after listening. "I had no idea you carried such a heavy karmic debt. That senior was truly a master, able to turn divination hexagrams into talismans. His Taoist arts must have been nearly divine. Young man, this talisman shows we have some connection. Would you like to hear my story?" The last thing I wanted was to hear his story, this old coot. That's what I thought, but I didn't dare say out loud. After all, whether I could return to the living world was entirely in his hands. So I nodded. Uncle Nine stared at the talisman, then at me, and finally at the eternal sunless sky above the underworld city. Then he began to tell his tale. It turned out that Uncle Nine had also been a practitioner of the underworld arts in his lifetime. He was born in Shanghai in 1934 during the War of Resistance against Japan. His family was poor, and his parents died in a war when he was 7, forced to beg on the streets. 2 years later, a wandering Taoist priest noticed he possessed Taoist bones and took him as a disciple. The priest's secular name was Han Yu, his Taoist title master Jingxian. The priest traveled with him, teaching him authentic Maoshan Taoist arts, and even passed down the sect's most precious three purities cloth talisman book. Uncle Nine lived up to Master Han Yu's expectations. Gifted and devout, he achieved minor mastery in just 10 years. By 22, he could subdue demons and evil spirits on his own. When Uncle Nine was 25, Master Han Yu achieved transcendence through bodily liberation, Shiji, and ascended to immortality. Uncle Nine inherited his master's legacy, traveling the world to slay demons. He never married or had children, only taking 2 disciples. But because the 2 disciples quarreled constantly and had impure motives for cultivating the Tao, he never passed the 3 purities talismans to them. Then in March 1975, the 3 of them traveled to Liaoning province, where a severe drought was plaguing the area. Near Mount Iwu, they encountered a Jiangshi walking corpse that had cultivated into a BA, an unrotting, powerful zombie. The 3 fought it to the death, chasing it into a remote cave deep in the mountains. Uncle Nine saw that the zombie was now impervious to wind and thunder, confirming it had become a BA. According to records of the divine and strange, in the south, there is a creature 2 or 3 chi tall, bare-bodied, with eyes on top of its head, moving as fast as the wind. It is called BA. Wherever it appears, the land suffers great drought, turning to red earth for 1,000 li. A BA-class zombie can fly, slay dragons, devour clouds, and is invulnerable to blades and spears. The 3 of them were no match for it. In the end, Uncle Nine ordered his disciples to seal the cave entrance, then used his own blood as a catalyst to summon the Rain Master water-dissolving talisman from the 3 purities talismans. With the talisman, he altered the flow of underground water veins to form a natural underground water formation, sacrificing his life to seal the BA inside the cave. Everything happened so suddenly that Uncle Nine had no time to pass the 3 purities talismans to his disciples. His physical body merged with the underground water veins and remained trapped in the cave forever. When his ghost arrived in this underworld city, he was filled with regret. His greatest regret was letting the 3 purities talismans be lost forever. How could he face his master in the afterlife with such a failure? So Uncle Nine set up a small stall in front of the Half-Step Inn in the underworld city, waiting for someone who still had a chance to return to the living world, someone to inherit the 3 purities talismans. But how easy is it to find someone who can return from the dead? Moreover, after the Cultural Revolution, those with real skills either died or went into hiding. Those who could cross between the worlds of the living and the dead were nearly extinct. Still, Uncle Nine never gave up. He waited for decades until he finally met me, a poor wretch who wasn't quite dead yet. I was dumbfounded again. If this weren't all so real, I would have thought I was dreaming. It was all too fantastical, too unbelievable to accept. And now there was a zombie involved? If he hadn't spoken so convincingly and recognized my talisman, I would have taken this old man for a storyteller. But I got the gist of it. This old man must have seen my potential and wanted to take me as his disciple. So now the fate of the world rested on my shoulders. To be honest, I wasn't that interested in supernatural stuff. This is the modern age. Even if there really was a 1,000-year zombie, king impervious to blades, I didn't believe an RPG anti-tank rocket couldn't blow it to bits. But right now, I was stuck between life and death. Getting back was all that mattered. I said to him, "Uncle Nine, your story is truly amazing. Do you want to take me as your disciple?" Uncle Nine sighed, looking at me. "Your aptitude is a bit lacking, but your birth horoscope is rich in wood energy, meaning you have a good heart. Besides, I have no other choice now." Damn, Uncle Nine, you don't have to be so blunt. I've been a failure for 17 years, but that still stings. But beggars can't be choosers. I said, "I'll be your disciple, but how do I get back?" Uncle Nine smiled when he heard I agreed to be his disciple. He stood up, pointed north, and said, "Judging by when you arrived, you'll be safe in the living world for 12 earthly hours. 12 hours in the living world equals 12 days here. In 2 days, I'll help you send a dream to your family, telling them to release a yellow rooster to guide you back at the 10th hour. Then you can ride the rooster back to the mortal realm." Hearing the way back filled me with hope. I wasn't stupid. Before Uncle Nine could say more, I knelt before him like they do on TV and called out, "Thank you, Master." Uncle Nine's face lit up with emotion when I called him Master. 1 hour in the living world is a day here. He'd waited who knows how many years. Today his wish was finally fulfilled. He could face Master Hanyu without regret. He helped me up and said, "Xiao Fei, since you're a soul now, you'll remember things much faster than usual. I'll teach you to memorize the 3 Purities Cloth Talisman book in 10 days and guide you into the Tao. When you return to the living world, you must study and practice diligently. I believe you'll achieve great things in time." I nodded. Uncle Nine wasted no time and began to tell me the origin and contents of the 3 Purities books.